Okay, this is Tanya. The interplay of opposites. Creation is the interplay of opposites. The highest realm of godliness is balanced by the other side of selfishness. And just as the first reveals unity, the latter reveals diversity. Do not mistake opposites for enemies. The self is not in rebellion against God, but actually serves God. Just as Balaam says, I cannot violate the word of God, so the self cannot violate the will of God. Yet human ignorance can be so great as to allow for the illusion of rebellion against God, rooted in the folly of separation from God. This is why our sages say no one commits any sin unless a spirit of folly enters into him. Here is another meaning of the teaching, for this thing is very near to you. Even when folly enters into you, you can be free of it. Folly causes you to forget your unity with God. Remembering unity erases folly. You remember your union with God by arousing the love of God that is always present in your heart. Even if folly leads to idolatry, still you can turn from it and be free. The highest realm of godliness is balanced by the other side of selfishness. The highest realm of godliness is balanced by the other side of selfishness. And just as the first reveals unity, the latter reveals diversity. Do not mistake. As you arouse your heart by facing your inclination toward evil, you may find yourself engulfed in a deep and troubling sadness. If so, do not be alarmed. Such sadness arises from and operates within the shell of self, yet it draws energy from your innate yet hidden desire for God and godliness, and thus kindles your passion for self-transformation. To work with sadness, say to yourself, I feel utterly removed from God, yet within me is the light of God, desiring only to return to God. Let me return the spark to her father's house, where she is united with God as God. Therefore I will cry out to God, and God will end this captivity and reunite her with himself. This is the practice known as returning through kindness. It should occupy you all your life. To practice acts of kindness is to love your neighbor as yourself. Loving your neighbor as yourself reveals the unity of neighbor and self, and no one is separate from another, and all beings are equal, having the single source in the one who is all. This explains Hillel's teaching. This is the entire Torah. That's his commentary. It draws energy from your innate hidden desire for God and godliness, and thus kindles your passion for self-transformation. Say to yourself, I feel utterly removed from God, yet within me is the light of God, desiring only to return. Sadness. Yeah, what? If so, do not be alarmed. Such sadness. God's speech is not like your speech. When you utter a word, the word seems outside of you. There is nothing outside of God, and no place is empty of Him. Even when God speaks and words become worlds, the absolute. Primordial human, the first and most inclusive of the five worlds of divine emanation. Adam Katman and its accompanying intelligence, Yachida, reveal the non-duality of God in, with, and is all reality. greatest acts of kindness is to love your neighbor as yourself. Loving your neighbor as yourself reveals the unity of neighbor and self. No one is separate from another, and all beings are equal, having a single source and the one who is all. This explains Helen's teaching. This is the entire Torah. The rest is commentary. Torah's sole purpose is to remove the veils of diversity, to reveal the divine unity, that you might then love the one by loving the many. To attain true joy, contemplate God permeating all things, realize that this world is nothing but divine glory, and that all things are empty when seen from the perspective of God. God is the sole reality, and whatever you look, it is God and God alone. Just as distinct rays of sunlight are nothing but the sun, so creation is nothing but God and emptied of all self. When you contemplate non-duality deeply and at length, practice acts of kindness. To attain true joy, contemplate God permeating all things, realize that this world is nothing but divine glory, and that all things are empty when seen from the perspective of God. God is the sole reality, and wherever you look, it is God and God alone. Just as distinct rays of sunlight are nothing but the sun, so creation is nothing but God and emptied of all self. When you contemplate non-duality deeply and at length, you are filled with uncontainable joy and a faith so tremendous as to realize your own oneness with God. This realization is the sole purpose of your existence and the purpose of all creation, that the one should dwell as the many. This is the living faith, as our sages taught the righteous will live by faith. The goal of the in-betweener is to realize the true nature of reality as the outpouring of divine creativity. Tanya offers many paths to this realization, hoping in this way to help people find a path that works for them. To attain true joy, contemplate all things, realize that this is the living faith, as our sages taught. The righteous will live by faith. The revelation at Sinai emptied the people of selfhood, and their souls departed with every word. To preserve the self, God commanded the people to build the Holy of Holies, in which God's presence would dwell, and where divine unity would be revealed. When the temple was destroyed, and with it the Holy of Holies, the way became God's dwelling place, and spiritual practice became a path to self-emptying. Chief among the spiritual practices is generosity, for generosity is the right arm of God. Practice of generosity is equivalent to all other spiritual practices, for the matter is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it. What is the meaning of do it? Why does God manifest the physical world and clothe the ego in a shell of self? Self is a holy flame, the body is the wick, keeping the self grounded in this world. The heart is the oil that saturates the wick. He feeds the flame. Acts of kindness are the light the self brings to the world. This is the it you are commanded to do. And their souls departed with every